Ghislaine Maxwell appears, as predicted, to have done Donald Trump a favour by saying only nice things about him when she was interviewed for 2 days last month by America's Deputy Attorney General. Maxwell, who of course is serving a 20-year jail sentence for her role in the sexual abuse and exploitation of minors on behalf of her boyfriend, financier Jeffrey Epstein, is seeking a pardon from President Trump and, to the surprise of nobody, exonerated him of any wrongdoing.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
As to her own plight, here's how she characterised the societal storm following Jeffrey Epstein's death and her own criminal convictions.
But basically, this is like a Salem witch trial. People gone lost their minds for this thing. I understand that. But the issue is, how do you satisfy a mob who can't understand the lifestyle because it's like P. Diddy in Redux on TV with Clintons and Trump? I mean, it's bananas.
She said she does not believe Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, and it's worth making the point that Donald Trump is not the only powerful figure she exonerates. She says she never saw any untoward behaviour by former President Bill Clinton either. Joining me now is Harriet Alexander, features reporter for the Daily Mail based in New York. Harriet, thanks so much for coming on the programme this Saturday. What did you make of what we learnt yesterday from the release of those transcripts of the Ghislaine Maxwell interview, and particularly of the claim that this is like the Salem witch trial?
Yeah, I think you set that up very well there, Simon, when you said, this is the woman who wants a pardon from Donald Trump. So not only did she stress repeatedly that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, at the end of her first day of testimony, it took place over 2 days, she said, I just want to state for the record that I really feel that it's terrible that Donald Trump has been dragged into all of this, essentially by people who want to do him harm. So she was really bending over backwards to say that Donald Trump was a fabulous person and that she did nothing wrong. And this, of course, is all part of her aim to get rid of this 20-year sentence that she's been handed.
But there is still a huge problem that the Trump administration has to contend with, Harriet. I mean, not just the frothing nature of those people within Donald Trump's Make America Great Again base that firmly appear to think that there's a cover-up underway at the White House, but the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell told the Deputy Attorney General there is no Epstein client list, and yet it was the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who just a few weeks ago said that the client list was sitting on her desk for personal review ahead of it being released to the country and publicly, which of course never happened because the Department of Justice weeks later said actually the client list doesn't exist. That's still a rhetorical problem for the Trump administration.
Yes, it really is. And it's worth remembering that it's caused huge rifts within the Trump administration itself. Pam Bondi back in February said the client list is on my desk. And then she herself had to sort of backpedal and say, no, what I meant was just the complete dossier of documents relating to this case. And that caused real anger with Kash Patel, the FBI director, and his deputy, Dan Bongino. From reporting within DC, we are led to believe that there was blazing rows in the White House among these three over the way that it was handled, because the problem that they really have, Simon, is that these are some of the people who are the absolute champions of these conspiracy theories. It fed into everything that their base loved, and they had podcasts and they would talk at length about the deep state conspiracy that was behind all of this. But now, of course, they have access to all of these files. So these same people that said there's a huge conspiracy are now the ones saying, nothing to see here, move on. And it's just not really flying.
Harriet, it seems pretty clear that Ghislaine Maxwell is on track to some kind of presidential action of leniency, whether it's a full pardon or a commutation of the sentence or clemency. What I don't understand is what Donald Trump gets out of that. How's he going to sell that to members of his grassroots base who already think there's a cover-up taking place?
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. I mean, I don't know what sort of mind-bending Jedi trick he's going to try and do on his base to justify that, because she is a convicted sex trafficker. Not just that, but it was children who were involved. I mean, of course, in the transcripts, she disputes this. She says, she says that none of the girls ever looked upset, which is quite interesting. And she says that she didn't know any of them were underage. But why Trump would do this? He's certainly lent that way before towards having sympathy for her. There was an interview a while ago, and he was pressed about his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said, "I wish her well." And the interviewer, Jonathan Swan, said, "She's a convicted child sex trafficker." And he said, "Yes, I wish her well. Her boyfriend died in prison. I wish her well," which was, quite an interesting remark. And Ghislaine has already been moved from prison in Florida, in Tallahassee, which is where she did these interviews, to a much more lenient prison in Texas. So it's already paid off for her. But yeah, we wait to see whether she will be pardoned. That, of course, is what her family wants, what she and her legal team want, but a very hard one to sell to his base.
There is, though, I think, an inexorable process taking place here. Harriet, thank you so much indeed for coming on the programme this afternoon. Harriet Alexander, features reporter for the Daily Mail, based in New York.